So yeah, we'll have to see exactly how they fare here, of course, against Ascension. Again, one of those teams. Sometimes there's some question marks. Today, I guess they're on fire. Ascension, the reason why I say that, of course, is because Ascension, let me go find them. They did beat the Sendou pickup. Sendou, Brian, Erza, and Kotaro in the group stage. And so they took a little bit of a break, of course, because they had a bye, but they're back here in the next game. We'll see exactly how they fare on Skipper Pavilion. Madness going over to the Nautilus. Actually, we see the tent umbrella here all the same. That is the camo tent, I believe. My screen's a little bit blurry. So opting for the hammer here. I would have liked to have seen the curling bomb rush instead, but that hammer certainly can come in clutch depending on how exactly you decide to use it. We start to see actually early pressure being applied by Polar Knight. That's Evan. That's going to be the last one up here as it's a 3-down situation. Polar Knight just made an absolute mad dash for the opposing side of the map, and they're able to come up huge here with a potentially strong early push.
Yeah, I believe that was Hilmar on the Charger. Came in from mid and actually got a pick on a couple of the members of Ascension over on the plat there. That kind of shut down their first push. The Charger going down over on Polar Knight, though, is probably going to open the way. The tent comes in, the Inkjet comes in, a little bit too high for the roller to reach, but Atomic is actually going to surprisingly survive that. The zone's going to swing over to the side of Ascension, but with a lot of members of Polar Knight still up, we're not sure how long this is going to last. Unfortunately, though, the tent being one of the members in zone here might make this difficult, but they didn't know Atomic was there. 2 quick picks coming out from Atomic, and Polar Knight's just really just been outslaying Ascension thus far.
There's the thing about that roller play, right, is that was very well timed. The members of Ascension didn't know exactly where that roller was, just popped out of nowhere and completely decimated them before they had time to react. Looks like Polar Knight's going to try to maintain control of the zones, but we are going to see Ascension come on down from this top side. Stingray is going to be popped out here at the ready. Got a couple hit markers, but not really able to amount to much of anything. There is 1 kill, but it's a 2-down situation for Ascension themselves. They were able to get control of zones, but I don't know how much further this is going to land. As you see Atomic sharking there, waiting for someone to come on down from the bottom side of the ramp, but I think not able to find anyone in that case.
Yeah, this is, I think it's actually one of like the kind of weaknesses, the sort of comp Ascension's running here. They have tents, they have not, well, they're just going to make me eat my words immediately as they take the zone out. And actually a very nice pick by Swen in the Charger, I think, taking out the roller on the side of Polar Knight. But I think one of the weaknesses, the kind of comp that Ascension's running is players who like to shark, especially like roller, because their comp really only has 1 weapon that can be super mobile, watch corners, just sweep clean an area, right? Most of their weapons are not super mobile, but very, very nice defense. That's the kind of thing, like when you're pushing in, it might be difficult, but Ascension's comp with that extra range, with that tent, is super strong at holding their ground. And very nice, they catch most of the members of Polar Knight coming back in from mid. And Atomic's looking to try and come in from bottom mid here. They actually get a surprise pick on one on the plat. They're going to be able to push the zone here. The zone is going to go neutral, but yes, actually, okay. Polar Knight is able to swing back the zone just in the nick of time, but they're not able to really wipe Ascension here. And Ascension's going to just have to retake zone and hold it to eat away at that penalty.
Yeah, but I mean, well done there by Polar Knight to at the very least get the cap, force the penalty, give them 1 more chance moving on forward. 1 is going to go down here early as the Stingray is coming on down. The Inkjet is popped and Hilmar's trying to find this pick, but it's not quite able to find it right now. That Inkjet's super mobile, but it'll finally be actually not taken out. That was a jump out of the sky. Charger is down for Ascension right now as Hilmar's going to try to move forward, but that's the complete wipe. This one, or Evan was coming around from the backside. Just a couple ticks of the timer left to go, but this is Ascension's game. They're going to go ahead and take game 1, despite the early aggression coming in from Polar Knight.
Yeah, that's a very nice game actually coming up from Ascension. They struggled a little bit at the beginning trying to get in, but that's really the kind of power that they bring to the table. They're able to, once they take the zone, they're able to hold it super well. Not incredible at watching corners, just trying to get peak kills. Tent, of course, great at survivability, great at holding their ground, especially on like a narrow area like Skipper Pavilion, and just some very nice picks coming out. They went down to the flanking roller once or twice, but they were able to recover from it and stay composed.
Yeah, they were able to stay composed, take care of business there, especially at the end of the game, not getting super frustrated and holding their ground. As you mentioned, one of those things that was the strength of Ascension's composition was once they were on top of the zone, they were near impossible to move. And I think in large part, that's thanks to the Tenebrella, right? You were just able to pop that Tenebrella canopy, let it slide on up the ramp, and that's just completely a part of the map and an approach point that is very popular, especially there towards the end of the game from Polar Knight, that was nearly completely taken out of consideration. Had to commit so many more resources to take care of that Tenebrella before actually worrying about the zone. But well done by Ascension to move on forward. The next random map coming in is going to be Manta Maria for the third time today. We've talked about this plenty here. Who do you think this one favors?
This is actually this is interesting. I don't think that actually Ascension was really running anyone that could take control of that mast super well. I'm kind of thinking that they might be vulnerable to flanks on this map. They seem to like not have a super easy time dealing with those, and I'm wondering if say Atomic flanking, potentially playing roller again. I'm not entirely sure what they generally play, but this is a map with a lot of ways to surprise the enemy, and I'm curious to see if Ascension switches up their comp at all. And Polar Knight switches up their comp as well.
We'll have to see. I don't know if Tenebrella here, especially from Ascension, would be the right call, because sure, you're able to shut down one path into the zone, but there's also a lot of different ways around, right? Like on Manta Maria, you can't just like put that Tenebrella down on street and completely shut down that entire area, because there are walls you could climb up, right? There are ways to go around it. Looks like Chinex is going to go ahead and stick with the Tenebrella. Tried and true there on that player for Ascension. We are going to see Atomic on the roller. A little bit of interesting spectator latency, but nonetheless, we'll be hopping right on into this one to start it out. Slimy already coming in with the Incomer to start things off as we start to see these teams approach a zone, and yet again, Polar Knight going for the same strategy of in your face right here at the beginning. Slimy just going to stay back to try to clean things up, but he's going to get taken out there actually by the Tenebrella that was pushed forward, proving me wrong and making me eat my own word. 2-down situation on the map right now, but it looks like control largely in favor of Ascension.
Yeah, I think Ascension took that push in a little bit. They took it a little slower at the start. We saw actually Atomic on the roller was the first to die. I imagine they tried to go for a flank, but Ascension was just, with the slow comp they're running, they realized that they need to be aware of that kind of aggression, and they were able to shut it down this time. But with the Ink Armor, the Bomb Rush, and the Rain coming out from Polar Knight here, 2 members of Ascension go down in the enemy bunker, and Swen's just going to have to back off, but this bomb is actually going to take them out. 1 member of Ascension's left, I believe that's the tent in their street. Yes, tent goes down, knock goes down. Wow, Polar Knight's really just extending this kind of, extending this push, this cap, and they're really able to exert their controls. Actually, one of the members of Polar Knight's able to get into the enemy base. A couple members over there, actually. The armor is going to help 1 member go down, 2 taken out over there by Atomic on that roller. And that's a very, very strong position. At the very least, on this map, when someone's sitting over in your base like that, it takes so long to get back in. With the slow comp Ascensions running, they're going to have a hard time. Already 30 on the clock for Polar Knight, and Ascension's really going to have to get moving here.
Big Storm is popped to try to get control back on his own. Swen's going to try to jump on out, but there's actually no one here to contest right now for Polar Knight. They're just going to focus on their own zone on that side. 1 goes down for Ascension right now as Swen is looking for a pick, but again, everyone on Polar Knight is out of range. At the very least, it'll be Ascension capping control of both zones. I actually don't know where Polar Knight went. They just backed up and completely gave that zone away, letting themselves take the penalty, but they're looking for the retake here as the splashdown comes down on top of the hammer there for Atomic. looking to move on forward with this curling bomb, surprising the Nautilus player, and is able to take down Madness. Now looking to control the zones, and that is going to be control. Back on over to Polar Knight, at least momentarily, I believe, as Swen is still kind of sitting here. Going to be a couple more players committed on that side. Again, zones capped for Polar Knight. We'll see what kind of strategy they decide to employ. We've seen them play super aggressive. We've seen them play super conservative. Looks like Atomic is trying to step forward, but you can't do that when you're going up against Madness. And now actually the quick push coming back the other way with this Ink Armor. Ascension looking to take control of both the zones. There's the hammer that's going to come on up, and they are going to do just that. But again, only one member of Polar Knight going down right now.
Yeah, a lot of them just kind of backing off. They're able to really minimize their losses here, as Hilmar, 3 members of Polar Knight over in that top left. Obviously, it's going to be well contested. The Enzyme actually goes down on the side of Ascension. A couple members over on that left side. The Inkjet's going to try and contest the top left. They're able to get one, but that Inkjet is going to probably go down in that corner there. Actually, no, Madness able to survive. 2 members of Polar Knight going down. Shinex on that tent really just holding their ground in the zone there. And yet again, a couple members of Polar Knight going down, but really not a full wipe. This is really their last chance. They're going to have to go. Kaldemar is going to try and get that zone on the side for the sneaky, but they're actually going to be taken out there as they're not able to gain enough paint in time. Nearly recapping one of the zones, but unfortunately not able to do it in time.
Not able to do it in time. It's Ascension taking the slow, methodical approach that are going to go ahead and net themselves a victory in that set. We saw a lot of promise actually coming in from Polar Knight, especially when they were able to make those fast plays, when they were able to move on forward. But at the end of the day, eventually, in the long run, it was Ascension that was able to hold on to these zones for a little bit longer, set up the positions that they wanted to in order to protect those zones just a little bit better. And I also think that overall, Ascension was focused more on painting those zones throughout the latter half of that match.